back. And this day, we are throwing chairs at Skyforce Anniversary by Infinite Dreams, built on the Unity engine. It's a shmup. You can pick it up for $9.99. You need to go into the what is it, because it is a shoot 'em up. If you don't know what that is, you are stupid, and you deserve to feel bad. And, of course, every week we have to subject it to our chairquisition. 1 chair means that it's garbage. 2 chairs means that it's bleh. 3 chairs means that it's pretty good. And 4 chairs means that it's fan-fucking-tastic. And we also have our categories of Doom, Makes With Working, Shiny Sounds, Controls, and Fun. So let's kick this off. Then, did Skyforce Anniversary make with working?
Oh, did it? And it did, actually, for the most part. For the most part, being a Unity game, it's going to suffer some issues. But I'll tell you about that in a moment, because I want to tell you what I was running it on, Brad. On the Ubuntu 1404 LTS 980 powered octo-core box of business. That's right. Here's some of the issues right here. It genuinely fucks up with the resolution, because I go from, 3840 to 1080 back and forwards, depending on what we're recording and doing all that. This thing was too busy chomping on a glue stick to figure that out. So I was like, well, if I'm going to record it in 1080p, I need to make sure that I set it to 1080p before changing everything to 1080p, or it's going to go, psh, there's no chance. You just fucked, Brad. So for that small transgression, which is hella annoying, I know it's not going to affect everyone, but it's a real issue. I'm going to have to ding it a chair, so I'm going to give it 3 for makes with working.
On the Fedora 21 powered 984K box of business here with the AMD 1090T. Yeah, no issues. It ran. It had that thing at the beginning. Ben warned me about it, but the introduction is super low res and pixely. And then when you die, because you inevitably die, it gives you the option to fix your resolution. And we'll get into that a little bit later. So for Mix with Working, I'll just give it 4 chairs.
And on the Amiga, since I am very much using 2 1080p monitors at this time, it didn't fuck up the resolution. It actually worked as intended. The Amiga, as I mentioned, has a GTX 970 Strix and an AMD FX 8370E overclocked to 4 GHz, and I'm running Aurora 2164-bit. So, with no problems to account for on my end, I'm going to give it 4 chairs.
All right, and that's 3 chairs for Mix with the Working, rather, because Ven dinged it once. Up next is Shiny and Sounds.
Impressed I was, Brother Svang. Hell, this thing looks good at 3840 by 2160. They actually took the time to set proper resolution in this. And I really want to point this out, because this thing started life as a mobile game. It's kind of rare to see that. It nails the visual feel of the long, long ago, the old times. And while that may be the most hipster thing I've ever said, wait, oh no, what
it really is.
Get it away. That was it's absolutely fact sauce. I don't hate the sounds.
For audio listeners, that was a PBR. He just pulled out of his ass, literally.
Right. Visually, pretty impressed with it. One thing I kind of want to explain is it looks like I remember the old Neo Geo games looking 20 years ago. When your brain organ just filled in all the extra pixels. And I was like, oh, this is what 20 years ago I imagined it would look like. And that's kind of what it looks like. In fact, the sounds are all right. They really help with the hipster feel BS I was just on about very much in that time. I don't have a big issue with them. A lot of people are praising it, and they've released a soundtrack. But, yeah, I wouldn't quite go that far to bother with it. When it comes to the sound, I would have minded something more metal or more dramatic or more shaky. It was like something a bit more thumping, but that might actually affect the game's pacing, but I'll talk about that later. So for Shiny and Sounds, yeah, I'm give us 3 chairs. Pretty decent.
Yeah, like Ven said, and he covered basically anything I would have to say about it, is it looks really good at 4K. That was quite surprising.
Plays well, too.
It does play well at 4K, and it really does remind me of that sort of midway type shoot 'em up that used to play in arcades with like the really long table or whatnot. I mean, the sounds are kind of there. Most of the time you just hear beep, 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 pew, pew. I'm too busy paying attention to the game to actually focus on the music because I'm terrible at shoot 'em ups and I have to compensate for everything. So, yeah, I can't really give it any faults. It looks good. I mean, it's not mind blowing, but it's at least worth 3 chairs.
Yeah, the soundtrack for me got nope 2 seconds in. The moment I started listening to the music, I'm like, nope. Yeah, you're going out the window right now. And the graphics, well, like you guys already mentioned, they look good. They're nothing to write home about, but they look good. But from the moment that your game starts up and the first thing I'm worried about is how the hell do I get to the options menu to mute this fucking music, you're looking at 2 chairs.
Whoa.
All right. All right, so that's 2 chairs for Shiny Sounds. I thought that was a burp. Up next is Control. Ven, how did it control?
It's only a burp if it tastes like it. All right. This thing worked out of the box with our X-Clone controller, which we basically established as an Xbox controller that got made on the night shift and didn't quite get all the fancy hardware to it. And this is very important, since I would flat out refuse to play a shmup, an arcade shmup, with a keyboard and a fucking gerbil. That's just stupid. That would be like my common joke of, well, it didn't work with my racing wheel. Just as valid of a point. It's like, well, I don't like how it controls with a keyboard and gerbil. And it's, psh, fuck off. Then we get to some issues, though, because the controls aren't too bad. I mean, then what do you expect? You move up, down, left, right, pew, 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 and pew. But you can't rebind them, Brad? No, you can't. At all. Which does lead to some genuine problems, and that's just a damn shame. You lose 2 chairs off that. It's like, but do they all work? Yes, they all work, but you have to use some right proper contortion to fire the laser without activating your shield, which you have to pay monies for unless you get the power-ups, which is kind of a holdover.
The shield button?
For me, the shield button was surprisingly the blue button, the X button. So you got Y on laser, blue on that, A on your pew pew pew. So you got to go from A to X without triggering that. And if you have Ven fingers that cover all 4 buttons with 1 finger, it can be a bit difficult. But I'll give it 2 chairs, but and again, it loses 2 chairs for not being a rebindable control scheme in 2015. So 2 chairs.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't get far enough to get the shield or the laser because in order to unlock levels, you actually have to get the achievements for some of the earlier levels. So I was still grinding out on that. From what I played, though, the stock controls on the Xbox seem to be fine. They're responsive, A, shoot, stick. I guess I can see how that can be really annoying, though, if you have to transition from the Y button to the X button. Wait, so X button was shield?
A button is pew, Y button is laser.
Yeah, and you said X button was shield, yeah. So yeah, I could see how that may kind of possibly get a bit confusing at times. I don't know, I haven't personally tried it out. It seemed fun to me.
It's a little insulting that you know that was click export and just hope it lands where it lands. It just happened to land somewhere playable.
That's true, but I mean that's standard shmup configuration. For the kind of most part, sort of, kind of, not really. I don't know. For what I played, it was fine. I'd give it 3 chairs.
Yeah, so I was the one who actually tried to play it with just a mouse, because that's how I played most of my shmups.
Way back in the day when you were a kid and you walked up to the game, you put your quarter in and you grabbed the keyboard and the mouse.
No, here's the thing.
You plugged in your PS2 mouse.
I didn't actually play a lot of shmups on arcades. I played most of them on the PC. And yeah, if you wiggled the mouse around, the little ship would move. Oh, okay, so you left-click to shoot, you right-click to send the big bomb or the big laser or whatever, and you'd use the middle click in order to enable the shield. That's the control scheme I was used to. But in this game, the mouse movement is floaty as balls. You move the mouse and the ship takes like a second to move to where you move the mouse. That's annoying. And the entire feeling that I got while playing the game, because apparently, if you play with a keyboard or the mouse, it fires automatically. And I'm like, this is baby's first shoot 'em up. What the hell? And apparently, yeah, like I said, it only does that if you play it with the mouse and the keyboard. Now, I did try it with the NVIDIA Shield controller, and it works. If I tell X input to stop listening to it, it's the usual spiel. NVIDIA really should fix this, and I just hit the microphone. I'm sorry about that. And like Ven said, in 2015, not allowing people to rebind controls, that's pretty bad. That's really, really bad. 2 chairs.
All right, so that's 2 chairs for controls. And finally, our last category, fun! Ven, did you enjoy yourself playing this game?
Fun. Actually, I enjoyed myself a lot more than I really should have.
You sunk like 4.5 hours into
About 4 hours into this time grinder. But let's talk about the reasons why. I mean, this really, like, from Genesis reminded me of a slower-paced Strikers 1945 Plus, which was on the Neo Geo, which I had one of those. As a kid, it was one of the few games I had because they cost too much, which was kind of fun. It was just a bit of an aside because I had to go. I didn't remember the name of that game on the Neo Geo. It was like airplane shooty game on the Googs, and I found it. And I found some videos of it, and I'm paraphrasing, but a lot of people who are watching this guy play Strikers 1945 Plus were something along the lines of, "You sped up the video. You're using cheats and you're hacking," and I was like, No. You just genuinely had to be that fast to dodge all the bullets. And my generation absolutely could do that. But I'm not a fan of collecting X amount of medals to progress. I mean, that was part of the iOS Android port to extract wet, stinky caches from people. And that also just artificially inflates how long you play it. Every level has... you start out, then if you get all the medals, then it was like, oh, here's hard mode, then here's nightmare mode. That was only there to get people to go, fuck, I'm going to have to give these people some money since the game was like 99 cents and all that business. But at the end of the day, they did an okay job converting pay to prevent grinding, not necessarily a pay to win game, into something playable without microtransactions, since they couldn't do it on Steam. And if they could do it on Steam, I can believe they would. And but it loses a chair for no online multiplayer, and also a chair for the price, $9.99, because they had to sit around and go, well, since we can't get all the microtransactions and get people to play, because this did some abysmal shit, mind you. Like, okay, if you're going to upgrade your ship, which you do instantly in this game, on the mobile port, you might have to wait a couple hours for the upgrade to complete. And you had a set amount of lives. You ran out of those lives, you had to wait a day to get some more lives. It was very just bad. I don't like that mentality of trying to psychologically fuck with people like we do every night on Linux Gamecast. Never mind. What I'm going to say is...
You forget the other 6 nights that we're on.
It's awesome. Pick this up when it goes 50% off. That's what I'm going to say. If it was half off and it did have multiplayer, I would probably give this 4 chairs for fun. But in its current state, give it a bit of a meh. 2 chairs, not bad, not good, J-Man.
All right, I'm going to preface this with, I fucking hate shoot 'em ups.
Oh, come on.
I squirrel the fuck out, and I can't focus on everything I need to, and then I just end up dying a bunch, and it just gets frustrating, and I throw my controller away, and I leave. This one, not so bad, though. Really the transition from pay
it's
to
incredibly
not
slow-paced for a schmuck.
Yeah, no, the pace is really good, and if you die a lot, like me, it gives you the option of, hey, you can upgrade your ship, make it a little better, and not die next time, and that creates a progression. It rewards you for improving on the game because you have to basically unlock all the levels, and if you want to progress, you actually have to get good at the game. I mean, it's not a terrible little shmup for by any means. I didn't really do any research into what it used to be on Android iOS, which based on what Ven described is just fucking terrible. I mean, god awful. What the fuck? Without really going too long into this, yeah, it's all right in terms of fun. It does have local multiplayer, though I didn't actually try that out with roommate. Online multiplayer would have been fun. Maybe they could improve it by giving you the option to have people make their own levels. I don't know. It's worth at least 2 chairs. It's a meh in the fun department.
Yeah, contrary to Jordan, I don't hate shoot 'em ups. In fact, I mentioned the Humble Bundles earlier in the show, and I liked Jamestown a lot. I love the Toho series, which is a Japanese shoot 'em up bullet hell type games. And really, the only thing that I found that this game has going for it is the actual Portuguese translation. That's how far deep I had to dig in order to find something positive to say about it, because with floaty ass movement, the soundtrack getting nope 2 seconds in, and me just not having any fun, I really have to give this game the 1 chair for the fun.
All right, so that's 1 chair for fun, and we total it up, and it ultimately becomes a 2 chair game. So, final thoughts?
At the end of the day, like I said, wait for 50% off if you're like me. Here's the one thing this game, I know it has a decent pedigree because it did it, and I haven't had this. What was that side-scroll boss fighting shmup we played a few...
Oh,
yeah,
fuck.
that one, right.
Yeah, that one.
Isbra?
Isbra.
Isbra?
Pop,
Brah.
pop robe.
Isbra.
4 pop robes, baby. This one put me in that zone where the other half of your brain is taking care of the calculations of dodging things, while the other half is busy pewing everything else. And I know this because there's been multiple times where I'm just like in the quote-unquote zone, and I like focus on what's going on, and I'm like, shit, whoa. That's what happens when you pay attention, but when you get back in that zone, you're just like, dodging all that. So they did a good job at that, and I think they did a fair job at, like I said, transitioning from give us money or you're going to be grinding until the point where you're either going to uninstall it or give us money, to something that is playable, and it does have scores. We can keep track of each other, and I'm curb stomping everyone except...
It like at the beginning of the level, it fucking compares you to whoever's at the top. So every time I start a new level, Ven is kicking your ass at everything.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, that's what I gotta say about it. It's meh. It's an alright shoot 'em up. Pedro, you have anything?
Not really, no. As far as shoot 'em ups go, I think this one
No
is
one
actually
cares about what you...